Okay, it's like, no, this way.
Ready? All right, welcome to our Batesville Engagement, where we talk about ready for learning issues. With the COVID pandemic, it has created obviously a lot of questions and issues and new terms and things that is actually going to push education to some waters that have not been tread. And so I'm Dr. Mike Hester, Superintendent of Batesville Schools, and today we wanted to engage you in our curriculum and instruction issues that are going to become the topics that every parent and student are going to have to think about and make decisions about. And so we're excited today to talk about several topics. We're going to talk about our Pioneer Virtual Academy, and we'll have Miss Lisa Barber talk to you here in just a little bit. She is our new coordinator about these issues, the who, what, where, why, and how on virtual. We're going to talk about some terms that maybe you've heard before but need to know more what they mean when we're talking about them. For instance, blended learning versus remote learning, and how that ties in with what we do with AMI. We're also going to talk about how we're training our staff with PD, and we've got our curriculum and instruction assistant superintendent, Mrs. Jennifer Douglas, here to talk about that. And then we want to talk about a little bit about the face mask and the things that will be involved with some of the safety features there. I also want to plug that next week we will have another Facebook Live where we will talk about the operational things. So if you're looking for some of the safety issues and all that that will physically go on with our food service, transportation, the custodial, we'll talk more in depth next week at that. For now, we're going to talk about the curriculum and instruction, and we're going to talk about Pioneer Virtual Academy. Virtual Academy is for those who want to go online completely with their education. And so Miss Lisa Barber is going to talk about how we get you enrolled, and then we'll have a discussion about what that actually means. So Miss Barber, if you can talk about Pioneer Virtual Academy, that'd be PVA for your new acronym. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Barber, and I'm the new coordinator for the Pioneer Virtual Academy. This is not something brand new because in the past couple years we've used some virtual learning at the high school for students who had medical needs or other issues where this was the best opportunity for them. You will hear some different terms for Pioneer Virtual Academy. The first one being completely virtual. A student in grades K through 12, they can do complete virtual learning at home through our program Edgenuity. They will also be in contact with the Batesville teacher who will make sure that we're meeting all the curriculum guidelines and the students are staying on track and where they need to be. We will also have remote learning for students in grades 6 through 12, and that option would allow a student to have a Batesville schedule, and then they would use Google Meet to actually attend the class virtually that a Batesville school teacher is teaching at the junior high or high school. Obviously there are a lot of questions, and I'm here to answer those questions and make the connections that need to be made with special services like students in special education or ELL students or any needs that need to be met. And my email is lbarber@gobsd1.org. Oh, and also to sign up for the Virtual Academy, just go to batesvilleschools.com. There is a link there and some questions to be answered, and then I will be in contact with you and we will set everything up that needs to be set up.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Douglas, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction, and I just wanted to kind of let everyone know for our teachers, in order to prepare for the Virtual Academy and for all the online resources, we've had ongoing professional development for multiple years in how to implement blended learning. Some of our campuses are working with Team Digital. We have refresher courses that we've offered with Edgenuity on all their online platforms, and we have future training scheduled with some of our other companies that we work with to provide online platforms for learning. for our students. And so our teachers are constantly working to better themselves and learn how to better implement blended learning in the classroom. And we, over the past 3 years, have had many, many teachers work towards obtaining their Google certification, which just makes them more fluent and proficient in Google Suite, which is how they communicate and teach on a regular basis through Google Classroom and Google Meet, and then all the platforms with Drive and Slides. And so our teachers are constantly working to better themselves, to prepare to educate students in this new manner. I also want to let parents know that we will be, through a partnership with Save the Children, we will be offering a summer reading program with prizes. And so the principals will have 2 distributions this week. Sulphur Rock students can choose to go to Eagle or West, and they will be distributing summer workbooks that students can work through. And then we will also have a QR code on our Facebook page. Students can log their reading, and at the end of the summer they will have prizes. And so if students come on Monday or Friday, they'll get workbooks that look like this for the grade level that they're going into, just to kind of help with review over the summer, and then they can log their reading to earn prizes. So I will turn this back over to Dr. Hester so that we can answer face mask questions.
Well, before we go, could you talk remote and blended, the differences between remote and blended?
Sure. Remote learning is when a student chooses to be a part of the virtual academy and they want to work at home, but they'll have a Batesville schedule that'll be available for students in grades 6 through 12, and they will have a schedule where they would join a Google Meet into the classroom and be a part of that classroom, but they would do all their work remotely. And then blended learning is something that all of our campuses have embraced and worked towards the past few years. That's just where the teacher, on a daily basis, she has part of her instruction in person, but then she also uses digital platforms to implement her curriculum. So I will turn this back over to Dr. Hester.
Again, this gives you Miss Barber to contact about virtual. Miss Douglas can talk to you more about curriculum instruction that would involve the classroom where we're blending. And just so that you know, blended learning is a combination of virtual and face-to-face. And our teachers have a toolbox, and one of the things would be Google certification. We've, the last 3 years, we've paid a stipend for anyone in our district who's become Google certified, which means they basically knows how to use the Google Suite, the toolbox that teachers use for teaching and learning. And so we've got a lot of people the last 3 years been perfecting those skills. This spring, when we had to basically take our AMI on the road for the entire finish of the semester, or 9 weeks, it really kind of perfected those tools, and those who had not done it before got in there and were able to scrimmage with it. And now I think we are stronger than ever because of that to start the school year off, because we scrimmaged with those issues. And there were people who were better at it than others. There's people who had the first time had to get in the game. And so I think we are going to be stronger to start the school year with our virtual, our blended, and then our AMI is going to be when we have to. Last year we had to have AMI instruction for when Sulphur Rock's electricity went out, when Eagle's water went out, and if we had a flu day or something like that for the district. Our plan is to be flexible. We're going to be flexible with the individual student. Maybe if they get quarantined or they've got COVID questions that they came in contact and they have to step out of the classroom or step out of the school and stay away until they find either test results or we know what happens with the quarantine time. Our plan is to keep moving forward with education for the district, for the building, and for the classroom. And there are going to be times that the individual student, or maybe a group of students who are involved in something, maybe not even in education or the classroom, but have to be either quarantined or hold themselves out till they see results of tests before they come back. That's when they'll need the blended learning or the remote learning to stay in, because the classes are going to keep going. So even if it's the entire class, the teacher in that class will then go virtual or remote. We're going to keep the process moving, and we're going to be flexible with families and individuals. Maybe you're scared, or maybe your family health situation changes and you're more vulnerable now than when you started, because maybe you have a family member that's vulnerable, or you become more vulnerable with your health, we're going to give you options to keep it flexible where you can move with the pace of what we need to do. And so we're planning on making that happen for our students and for you as families. We've got, we're live, and have we got some questions that we need to answer? And I'd ask the others to come up with me and stand around the podium, and let's answer some of the questions. And Megan, if you'll let us know, what are the questions we're seeing
Okay.
here?
I feel like something that's important that we need to address is what's the difference in what we'll be coming back to for School for Learning versus what AMI was? Because I know that was a really popular question among the parents.
Okay.
Okay, so AMI in the spring, as per the directive from the Department of Education, was for us to only review and not introduce any new material to students while we were off during the pandemic in fourth quarter. And so a lot of what we saw in AMI for fourth quarter was just review work. It was just things to help students stay fresh on what they had learned throughout the course of the year. Moving forward, blended learning and virtual learning will be learning new content, learning the Arkansas standards that are grade specific for those students. The students will be learning new content. We will be utilizing the ADE's playbook that they've put out for us that is giving teachers an additional tool for the standards that need to be covered. So that will be one of the primary differences that families will see, is that we'll be learning new content.
And with that, there was also that we didn't want to hold any kid we didn't want to hurt their grade. And so we said their third 9 ranks grade, they could do no worse than that. Now what we did is, to hold people accountable, we said, your grade's not going to suffer, but we're not going to let you get by with not turning things in either, because what we sent home was important to learn, or what we had out there was important to finish up on. So we held people accountable and said, you at least are going to finish it, because if you don't, you get an incomplete grade. You weren't going to get any worse, but you weren't going to get a grade until you completed the assignments. And if you were involved in sports or music or activities, you weren't going to be eligible if you didn't get those things done. So we were not going to let people just walk off and not be accountable for the learning that we thought was important to continue. And so we're going to have accountability with compassion, that we understand health and situations that we work with, and teachers do this all the time. Coaches, principals, counselors do this all the time, where high expectations with what we're dealing with. And so the grades will still be a part of it. Incompletes for medical situations will still be a part of it, but we're going to keep moving. There will be an accountability of time when the grades are due, new learning will happen, the grades will have to happen. We will work with incompletes like we've always worked with, if you need it, for time, extra time to get things done. But with an incomplete comes a time when we come to an agreement with you about when that grade's due and what's happening.
Excellent. Another question that's for Miss Douglas is they missed the times to pick up those workbooks. So if you can explain the pickup times and a little bit more about the Save the Children program.
Sure, if you will make sure and check out your campus's Facebook page, they'll have a post on it that Monday is pickup times for West Elementary, and it's from 9 to 12, just through the drive-through like you guys did in fourth quarter. And then Eagle Mountains is Friday from 9 to noon. And it'll be the same thing, the drive-through situation. And if you're a Sulphur Rock student and you would like a summer workbook, you can choose which campus that you would like to go to pick up those summer workbooks. And if for some reason those times don't work for you, if you will just send me an email, I will keep some workbooks here so you can come by the district office and also pick up a workbook at your convenience.
Okay, excellent. Someone else is asking, let me see here, where is it? Karen Beller would like to know, what is the format for the elementary grades on Pioneer Virtual Academy?
For the elementary grades, the students will be working on the online program Edgenuity, but they will also have contact with the Batesville School District teacher who makes sure that all the standards are being taught and the students are making the progress that they need to make.
Excellent.
And I might say, in the past with Edgenuity on the secondary level, a lot of times there's more content. First of all, if you haven't had these online courses, they are tough. And a lot of times there's more content in it than what we're requiring even in the face-to-face. And so teachers and directors of the learning make decisions, content decisions about what should go, what should stay, And so that is still true, even in the elementary. If there's more content than we need than what's even happening in the face-to-face, they'll adjust that. Or if there's an appropriateness of something that's changed, our teachers, our directors have the ability to edit those courses and stay within the standards and within the guidelines of the Arkansas Department of Education.
Excellent.
I'd add to that also for K-5 particularly, the Batesville School District teacher will be providing reading instruction, not face-to-face, but face-to-face via Google Meet, so that a student will have direct instruction in reading to meet all of our requirements for the science of reading, in addition to the courses that are available in Ingenuity.
Okay, excellent. And now that we're back to you, we did not mention Sulphur Rock. Can you explain to them that they can pick up at either, well, I'm saying it, West or Eagle at either of those pickup points? They are included. Sulphur Rock is not left out. They can pick up the curriculum for the Save the Children and the reading program at either of those locations from 9 to noon on either Monday or Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
And Save the Children is a grant program, and it has been a wonderful partnership. They've sent us gifts in kind that include masks and hand sanitizer and even Barbie dolls that we got to hand out to our students at the beginning of the summer. So it's been a wonderful partnership. It's focused on reading. But our two campuses that receive those grants are Eagle Mountain and West. That's why those are the two main pickup points, but Sulphur Rock students are included and can go to either location.
Excellent. And then we're having several questions regarding social distancing and wearing masks among our students. Can you explain a little bit about that? Because we've got quite a few that are concerned about safety.
We have a whole range. We all are concerned about safety. But we have a whole range of situations that we're going to accommodate. First of all, if you want your child to wear a mask all the time, we will accommodate that. If you want your child to not wear a mask, I have two children that would have fit in both categories. One would not have wanted to wear a mask because they were claustrophobic, and the carbon monoxide deficiencies of oxygen would have driven them nuts. I've got another child who not only would wear the mask, but would sleep in the mask just because they could. And so we will have those ranges, and we will work with all families in their situations. We will try to social distance, and when social distancing becomes not possible because the physical space, because remember, our physical space is one of the reasons we were talking about, the main reason we were talking about a bond issue is we didn't have enough room for all the kids. So social distancing will take a lot of planning with our people, pick up, drop off points, cafeteria and all that, and we'll talk more about that next week. But all those issues that we had about space now come into question with this social distancing. So we're going to make all the best choices we can, where we can, when we can. When we can't social distance 6 to 12 feet with folks, then we're going to ask for people to use masks. And just like in graduation, all the legislation that's coming down to us now, because the legislators know they can't go create new classrooms right now. They can't create double the buses. They can't make the walls of the cafeteria bigger. So we're all going to have to work with our schedules and social distancing and what we can do when we can. There are going to be times we cannot possibly create all the social distancing we need, or there's not going to be enough supervision to make it to where we can have that happen. When those happen, we're going to ask people to wear their masks. We're going to ask people to do some things that we need to do. We're going to have hand sanitizers. We're going to be defogging with commercial grade sanitizing machinery. And so we're going to be doing all the kind of things that we can do, but there's going to be times where we're going to have to work with what we've got and what we can do. We are also having these infrared touchless thermometers that are available to specific individual groups. You know, when band wants to play and meet, they're going to take temperatures. When they work out with sports now, they're taking their temperatures. We're going to have thermal cameras that when people walk through the building, so that we don't have to address everybody individually, they can walk by a camera, and this camera will only flag if somebody's temperature is above 100.4. And so we're working with our nurses on that. The nurses will kick in with that. And next week on operational, we'll get more of our operational folks here to talk about those things. But we will have equipment that will help us with the masses and with the individuals, that we can screen that before it maybe even gets into the building. So again, I feel like instructionally, our people have scrimmaged with all these issues about the technology, the technical things that we have to do. I think we're going to be stronger than ever, and I think Batesville's positioned to offer more choices for families than anyone because we've scrimmaged with it. We were already one-to-one. We're in our third year now of one-to-one with all of our students. It's just that 6 through 12 was taking them home. Now we're going to make it where K through 5, and that was what was surprising. Ms. Douglas was telling me that the kindergarten and second grade teachers were like, let's get them, take them home. And that's the ones we were worried about, whether they could even handle it. But we're finding that in this day and age where people have their cell phones, kids are on internet before they even get to school, and they're carrying these devices around. Their digital citizenship is a lot more than people thought on their responsibility, and we owe it to people to have them to be responsible and to put that on them to be responsible with the equipment and take care of it because they value it, and they do. So we're finding we can do a lot more than what we thought before with people taking devices home and being able to have internet connectivity. We'll talk more about internet connectivity next week as well on operational.
Excellent. Some of the questions that parents are asking is they want to know if the educators that will be through Pioneer Virtual Academy will have certifications and be licensed.
Yes, they will be licensed teachers.
Okay. And then maybe explain that some of those teachers will actually be our own Batesville School District teachers outside of the certified teachers through Edgenuity.
No, every teacher will be a Batesville teacher. All the teachers that the students will come into contact with through Pioneer Virtual Academy will be Batesville School District teachers.
So it's Edgenuity's curriculum, but it's under, the teacher of record is our teachers, our certified teachers.
Yes, the teachers that will be interacting with the students on a daily basis will be Batesville School District teachers. And we made that decision because we want to make sure they're familiar faces to the students, they're people from the community that the families know, with local contacts that they can reach out to. So all the teachers for Pioneer Virtual Academy will be Batesville teachers, and then Ms. Barber will be the primary contact as the director.
Okay, excellent. Another question from Jennifer Treadway is, if you choose virtual, will your student lose their spot at the physical school?
Yes. We will do our best. If you choose to go to the virtual academy, we will do our best if you decide to return on site to place them back on the campus of choice. That's an elementary question. We will do our best to do that, but we can't hold a spot both places. And so if they move to virtual school, they'll become a virtual student that's not really affiliated with any campus, but will still be able to participate like in extracurricular campus activities, parent nights and things like that of the campus of their choice. But to return to on-site, they would just contact Ms. Barber, who would get in touch with my office, and we would do our absolute best to place them back on the campus that they were previous.
Okay. And
so to be clear, we're saying they can get back on campus. I mean, they can come back and forth. Now, we would hope that there'd be some stability of at least a semester or 9 weeks with children, that you're not just going back and forth, just constantly. But we would make sure that they get back in class. We are guaranteeing that. We can't guarantee they get the teacher they had when they left. We will try, but you will get back on campus. We'll guarantee that, but we cannot guarantee that you can get back in that classroom of the teacher of your choice. We will try to do that, but there's no guarantees with the ebb and flow of what's going on. And we run our resources, we run tight anyway. We don't try to have a lot of fluff, and so people have a full load. So we will try to get you what you want and do, and if things grow and as our district grows, because we've got a lot of people wanting to come into the district because of these options, we will add resources of teachers as our students' numbers grow too.
Okay. And then Courtney Beal is asking who's going to be directly responsible for individual students' curriculum and content on the Pioneer Virtual Academy, and will that be assigned at a grade level appropriate teacher?
Yes, the Edgenuity curriculum is based on Arkansas state standards, but then there will also be that Batesville teacher who will go back and double check and make sure all the standards that are appropriate for that child in that grade level are met.
Okay,
So
excellent.
an elementary certified teacher will be overseeing the kids in grades K through 5. And so the Edgenuity platform for virtual students includes 4 core courses and then 2 elective courses. And so that one point of contact, that one teacher who's certified in elementary education will oversee those 4 core courses, just like they do in regular elementary. Our teachers teach multiple subjects. That's the way it'll be structured in elementary.
Okay. Regarding to being at school, Heather O'Connor is asking if the junior high kids will switch classes or if they'll be in the same classroom the whole day.
They will switch classes. We are going to run school as normal as we can. Will there be a time when we say we stay in the classrooms? Possibly, depending on what the times are. We are planning on things being regular school, regular times, regular activities with social distancing involved. If we go through a time where we need to do that, we will. We'll be responsive to the times. But school will keep continuing and go on. So yes, we will. We have that option to do it. Our plan is to make it as regular as we can.
Okay, excellent. And then one more question that we'll take is several parents are asking if we will be providing the masks or if that will be the parents' responsibility.
Parents' responsibility for their students to have a mask if they want one, because again, sometimes you've got to go see what fits a kid, because they may not, one size doesn't fit all, and what works for one kid, or they may not want a mask unless they find the kind of mask that they like. So we ask parents to do that, make that part of your back to school supplies. A mask, hand sanitizer, and there's one other thing.
Water.
Water, a water bottle. Yes, a water bottle, and put your name on it. Here's why. Because, with a public water fountain, touching it and all that, we're going to be wiping them down, but a good practice is have them bring their own water, have their name on it, so that when they get thirsty, or if they go to the cafeteria and they only want to drink their water versus touching anything else, it just makes it to where it's a peace of mind, and it's probably a safer practice that they have their water, their bottle, and so add those 3 things to your list of back-to-school supplies: water bottle, sanitizer, and a mask.
Okay, and then Gary Richardson is concerned about social distancing. Mr. Gary, if you can go back and watch this video once it's over, we explain in depth about social distancing, and we just touched on that students can wear a mask. So if you will please go back and look at that, we will be accommodating in whatever way possible to keep our students safe. So please don't disregard that. We did address that. So.
Now, and here's what I would say. We are going to observe social distancing everywhere we can. There are going to be times that we cannot. And that's where the mask comes in. That's where the taking the temperatures, taking the sanitizer, that's where all those precautions then are taken to help us when we have that. But most of the time, we can observe and we can honor the social distancing rules. Just talked to the band director today. He said, I got to looking at 6 foot, and he goes, we take 4 steps between each other when we make a formation anyway, because he said, I got to think, at 4 steps, that's plenty, 6 foot. So a lot of what we do is already the distance that we need. Chairs apart from each other are usually at least 6 foot apart. So there's not going to be a lot of that, but there are cases where we are going to have to look at it and work with it, and we will make adjustments everywhere we can. We will make adjustments for social distancing. When we can, other precautions are in place that help make that as safe as it can be.
Excellent. And then if you just want to inform those who are watching of when the next time we will be taking questions and going live.
Yes, it's next Friday. We are going to have, next Wednesday at 11. We are going to have the Director of Operations, Mr. Drew Sandage, here. And he helps work with the custodians, the maintenance, the nurses, the food service, and transportation. And so those are all the operational things that we do. And he's going to be here to talk about the social distancing arrangements. That would be who would help with those arrangements. The sanitation and the cleaning and the serving of food and all the issues involved with the operational side to the COVID concerns. So tune in next Wednesday. If you can't tune in when we have it live, we put these on our Facebook recorded, and you can go back or send them to people and say, watch this, they've got some of the answers. So.
Okay, excellent. And then the last thing is, if you'd like to submit your questions, I'm going to put a contact us Batesville School District engagement form, and you can submit your questions there, and we will respond to those directly. And please go to our Batesville School District website and look at the FAQ. We do have Ready for Learning attached there with an FAQ, and we will continue to build on that from your questions today.
All right, can I say one thing?
Of course.
All right, so I said in our news, I said, let's do this. I mean, I don't know, when you think about how educators, in hours, they turned around the entire educational process the way we delivered, there's no workforce that could do that better than what our educators did. That within hours, we changed the entire format to virtual, remote learning. And we can do this. We've already scrimmaged with it. There's confidence. There's people trained. The district is poised through the board's one-to-one initiative with all the infrastructure we have, the tools that we have. We not only can do this, we will do it better than anyone else. And so the confidence that I have in our staff and the tools that we're offering, I mean, we are putting students first and giving families choices with flexibility, and that's what you want in a time like this. So that's like I said, let's do this.